We're gonna go for a peaceful evening walk here. Thursday evening. It's been another day. I made another video this morning. This is the second video of today. One in the morning and then this one here in the evening. I just kind of felt like coming out and recording another one, but I don't feel like saying a lot. I feel like this is going to be a quieter video. Don't hold me to that, but I don't feel any words really particularly coming forward. And but I just thought I'd record anyways, because some of what we're talking about all the time, right, is not feeling the need to talk or the need to communicate, just being aware and paying attention. And here we have another beautiful, amazing, fantastic summer evening in Ohio that is almost indescribable. There's a little rabbit just came out of the brush ahead, hopping down the lane. It's so cool, things like that, just like spontaneous little events that happen all the time in nature, right? There's so much activity going on that we don't see between the blades of grass. It's funny, he's staying on the trail. He just keeps hopping down the trail further along. Still there. And now he dove into the grass. Such a silent and peaceful place, except for when the occasional motorcycle or car, two motorcycles in this case, goes down the road. It doesn't happen that often, but it just did. So you hear that. I feel every year I feel like I'm paying attention just a little bit more. Like I'm very aware of these summer days this summer. Like every one of them, I just feel more like I'm paying attention more, and I'm not letting them slip by unnoticed. But I've come this way many years. This isn't the first year. I've made this trip down this trail multiple years. I can remember various times in my life, different events occurring when I was walking down this trail, which is one of the things that happens to me when I go somewhere like this, that I repeat. I come here over and over again all the time. And sometimes in my head when I'm here, whatever happened during that day or whatever I'm concerned about at the moment, sometimes nothing. It's usually the best. And it's not real memorable that way, right? Like, we remember things that are sort of different or worth remembering. And then things that we don't have any particular reason to remember, sometimes we just don't remember. And there's nothing wrong with that. Like, there's no need to remember everything. As we've talked about so many times, like, there's a place for recording memories and there's a place for not recording. just listening to the sounds of the fields. We talked about, I used the word drone, the droning of the cicadas earlier today. I don't hear them as much now because it's cooler. But just so many other sounds. But it all kind of blends together to create like this hum or this, like I said, droning, like this mixture of sounds all together. There's some crickets. You hear birds. Of course, the car over there. And there's not a need to pick it apart like that. Like, you don't have to name the different sounds. Like, just take it in, as just one thing, one whole. Like, it's all combined. It's like a tapestry, but with many woven fabrics and colors in it. I think I've said this before, but the nighttime has a different energy. Every morning I'm exuberant, ready to take on the day, whatever the day may hold. And when night rolls around, I'm ready to give it a rest. I don't stay awake as late as I used to. I like to go to bed really, when it gets dark. And I like to wake up when it's light. I don't like to miss any moment of a summer's day. It's just like being alive is right here, right now, no more, no less. There are a few places where you can get this kind of view, this kind of vista. To be able to see so far away. Like, if I were to design the ideal meadow, I couldn't do any better than this. It's like, if I didn't know that road was there, there's very few signs of human presence here. It's just like hundreds of feet of different types of grasses, different types of plants. And I can hear the sounds of the insects pretty loudly right now. It feels like it's gotten louder. And as far as the eye can see in every direction, it's just nature, 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 surrounded by trees. It's like a bowl or something, and the trees are like the walls of the bowl, keeping everything in. bit cloudy tonight, so it's a little darker than normal. I think we still have maybe 25 minutes of sunlight left before dusk. Oh, it's getting earlier and earlier really fast. So sunset was a few minutes ago at 8:38. It's now 8:41, and the last light is at 9:08. I thought it was like 9:18 or 9:20. I'm sure a few days ago it is. We're rapidly losing daylight hours, or daylight minutes, as we're headed back towards winter. And this is just another reason why I just don't want to miss every minute of daylight. You know, to me, this is just the best time of year, but it comes and goes so quickly. It's a lesson you learn. Impermanence is a lesson you learn by living here in the Midwest. The summer is so fleeting. The only season that seems to stay around a long time is winter. Seems longer than the other ones. All these plants will be gone then. Gone but not forgotten. And the seeds are still there, dormant and waiting for spring, which is another glorious time. But that transition from winter to spring to summer is always amazing, you know. But what's amazing is like when winter reaches its end, when spring starts coming, it's like I'm looking for everything that's green, the first sprout of anything green, you know, the first signs of life coming back. But then at some point it's like an explosion of life, and you can't keep track of it anymore. And now here we are, like everywhere I look, and there's just diversity of plants every which way. It's at its peak. All the trees have leaves on them. I remember when there weren't any leaves. In the winter, I was here and looking at essentially bare trees, it has its own beauty. You know, it's like a hibernating beauty. But it's, you know, life just explodes in the summer. I don't have any bug lotion on, so I imagine the bugs will be flocking to me soon. I just didn't want to put any on for just the few minutes that I wanted to come out here. The few minutes of the day that I have left. Sometimes I just like to stop because we're always moving. And when we're moving, we don't see things as well sometimes as when we're standing still. I actually forgot that I bought a mosquito net that goes over my hat at home. I have to make sure I put one in my car, because So if I had that over me, I'm feeling some bugs around my neck and face. The mosquito net just kind of goes over your hat and then kind of just falls down around your shoulders. I think it would be, you can still see through it. I think that would be the thing to have handy, because then I can just pop that on my hat without worrying about putting on all this lotion. You know, that for just a few minutes. I think I might head back now. Yeah, nothing spectacular, just one of many summer evenings, just walking along, paying attention, nothing heavy. It's kind of cool documenting these walks. I've been here hundreds of times, going the same way in previous years. This is the first year I started recording anything. And I don't know what purpose it serves. Probably none. I don't think many people watch these videos. But just for my own purpose, it's kind of nice to just have a recording or a documented account of the things I do for whatever reason, I don't know. But this is my life. This is what I spend a lot of my time doing. Just this. And it never gets old. You know, to me, being out here by myself with nature all around feels like the most comfortable place to be in the world. I find that I relate to people a little less and less, I think, all the time, because I'm just not interested in the things that most people are interested in. You know, people tend to, you know, have whatever their favorite topic is, you know, and it's always just information. You know, this busy world that we live in, something's always happening, something's always going on, and you can talk about this stuff endlessly, all the myriad of things, but like sometimes I just don't want to. I just don't want to talk about it. I just want to be out here in silence. You know, I've been doing more talking on these videos than I probably have with anybody outside of work and family, of course, in ages. You know, I don't normally talk at all about the things I've talked about in these videos. I never really saw a purpose or a need, but for some reason I just felt compelled this year to pick up the camera and do it. And maybe it's just to document what I'm doing, what I've done, for anyone who might be interested. All 10 of you out there in the world. I don't expect any of these videos to be popular. Why would they be? Nothing much exciting is happening. I mean, I'm just speaking. I'm not teaching anything or conveying knowledge. Like, so many people are so interested in knowledge, acquiring, whether it's technology or science. Like, it's like they have a voracious appetite to just absorb more material. I find myself reading fewer books. Which I just mentioned to a friend, how I just don't read that much anymore. And because it just doesn't interest me. Not a lot interests me. A lot is fiction. I guess, truth is stranger than fiction. I mean, when I'm out here seeing what's real, what's true, it's the most interesting thing to me, in the universe. More interesting than some imaginary plot line of a story. I don't know, we spend so much of our time distracting ourselves from living. And what is living? Some people think that is what they're doing, right? They're busy. They're busy living. They have work. They have play. They, have their day is packed full of planned activities. And to me, that would be the opposite of what I would like to do. I just like quiet walks through the fields, through the woods. Not with any goal in mind of achieving anything, but just being out here. This feels like my home. More than any place. And the solitude or aloneness, however you want to put it, is just so powerful. I mean, I don't feel the need to talk if I don't want to talk. Before I started taking videos, I certainly wasn't talking. Because I wasn't, I walk alone. But there's such power in that. Like, when you're alone, you can see what's around you. If you're with somebody, you're going to have a conversation, almost inevitably. And then the entire walk becomes, the focus is on the words of the conversation, which sometimes can be, there's nothing wrong with that, right? But you can't do that and pay attention to what's around you at the same time. So that's why being alone allows you to do that. To just take it in its silence and its unassuming presence. Right, I think that phrase just kind of came to mind, like unassuming presence. Like, it's not making a big deal. Nothing here is standing out among anything else. One flower is not standing up and saying, hey, look at me. One tree isn't over there saying, hey, I'm the most important tree here. But our human life is just filled with that. Right? Everybody trying to be the most important person in their life. And letting everyone else know about it. And, it just gets a little tiring after a while. There's this purity of nature is that everything has its place out here. But nothing is out of place. But nothing, nothing's planned. It's all just occurring, it's happening. In this natural way. And it's unassuming. Nothing's pretentious out here. I think that's what I always find fascinating about nature, right? Is I don't Now I'm seeing lightning bugs in the field, the little green lights, which I'm glad to see them. I heard somewhere that their populations are diminishing. Well, and it's because of places like this that, they're staying alive. They're thriving. Which is why if we were to cut all this down, it would be a horror. And we do that in so many places. We're developing. It's all about plowing the field so you can put up a condominium or whatever, shopping center. And then we lose places like this, which are just, this is what it's all about. I mean, this is our roots. And some people see nature as something to be exploited. You might come here and say, all right, this is all great, but what can I do with all this? What's the use of this grass? What's the use of this tree? This tree doesn't do anything for me, so I'm not interested in it. Everyone's always looking for the use, utility, and I'm not interested in things that aren't useful. Well, nothing here is useful. Not in our conventional sense. Right? But everything has its place. But it's not, sure, there could be particular uses of some of these plants. But who cares? It doesn't matter. It's not the reason we're here. We're just here to appreciate what is in this moment. And, is it possible for us to do that? Is it possible for us to just appreciate this moment without wanting the next moment or trying to capture this moment and store it somewhere, remember it, let it go. As I walk by everything, I notice it, but I'm moving forward and what I see back there is gone. I'm looking forward and to the side, and that's what I'm seeing. I'm not seeing behind me. And I don't want to. Because if I'm thinking about what's behind me, I'm not seeing what's in front of me. And I think that's, it sort of should be obvious, right? That also applies to our life. In that if we're moving forward, you want to see what's ahead of you, not what's behind you. That's gone. Right? We might turn around and go back later, but for right now, it's gone. I don't want to see it anymore. I want to see what's in front of me. And I'm seeing that we're coming back to the parking lot. You can see my CRV over there. The trusty CRV that I drove to Arizona and California in on my wild adventures in 2023. Transformative adventures, I would say. Maybe a turning point in my life in some ways. So that is about it. We didn't really go deeply into anything today other than the woods themselves, or the fields. We didn't go really into any woods. I wasn't terribly attacked by insects, which is good. And here we are emerging back to the road, back to from whence we came. And it must be pretty close to 9:08 because it's getting dark. Well, it's 9. So yeah. It's going to be time to go home. Maybe have a little dinner. Get ready for bed. And, we have some animals to take care of. So, all right, well, thanks for walking with me. I doubt many people stuck around this long. But if you did, I enjoyed the company. Um, and I guess we'll maybe see you in the morning if I have the energy for a morning video, or the next day, whatever comes first. So that's about it. And I will have more to say later, I'm sure. Have a good night.